In this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector version 17, we'd like to show you some of the new text effects or title effects that you can apply when you're tracking an object with motion tracking. There's some new enhancements on how you can label that object. We're going to show you what they are in this particular tutorial. So we have a clip here of a guy playing tennis, and we'd like to track him and then label him. So I'm going to pause the clip and we'll click on it on track number 1, and then from the Tools menu above the timelines we click the drop down and choose Motion Tracker. This pops up my motion tracking screen. In the upper left corner I see the 3 steps I need to follow. The first one is to put this white box on top of the item I want to track. And so we're going to change the shape of it, and we'll put it right on top of the green of the gentleman's shirt. Let's click on track and see how well it does. And it stayed with him pretty well. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. So the next thing we want to do is use this new title option. So we followed step 1 and step 2. The title is the T on the left side. We'll add a title effect. Now I have my options on the left side for titles. They're similar to the earlier versions of PowerDirector, but we have some new enhancements. Let me show you. Let's say this player is named Robert. So we put the title there. We can put the title anywhere we want to, above, below, to the left, to the right of our player. It doesn't matter. Now let's change the font. We have all the options that are available in our copy of Windows. Again, if you want to add a font, just add a font to Windows. It will automatically be added to CyberLink PowerDirector. We can change the size of the font, and you can select anything you want from the text list. In this case, we cannot edit it. We cannot use a number that's not in the list. I've tried, it doesn't work. We can also change the color of the font. Let's go to maybe a maroon, and we can choose the border option below. Let's do that, and let's give it a nice white border so it pops really nice. We can change it to bold or italic. Let's make this italic. And then we have an option where we can choose a new feature called backdrop in version 17. I'm going to click on the right arrow. That will open up all my backdrop options here. I'll turn backdrop on, and then we find that we can have several different options in terms of the shape of the backdrop. This is the same as in the new title designer. I can choose an ellipse. I can choose a rectangle. I can choose a curved rectangle or a rounded rectangle. Now, the curved is more subtle. The rounded is actually more horizontally stretched. Then we can choose the color of the rectangle. Let's take something in the pinkish purple area there. And we can also change the width and height. If we drag to the right, we make the rectangle larger. If we move to the left, we make it smaller. But usually you want it somewhere close to the size of your text. You can maintain the aspect ratio if I turn that off. You can change the opacity of the background. It starts around 70, and I can make it solid, or I can make it so it's somewhat or transparent. I can offset it on the x-axis or y-axis from my text if I want to. And those are all the features we have when we look at the backdrop options in CyberLink PowerDirector version 17. We have another box that's automatically turned on, which is smooth. We can make it normal, or we can make it smoother. If it's kind of rugged movement, this will smooth it out even more. We'll turn that on. And we can adjust the effect distance with the tracked object. Let's leave that on and see what the preview looks like. So we're going to play this now, and we will see that we have Robert tracked very well with a very visible kind of feature here in the using this text tool. So let's stop that. Let's turn off the adjust effect distance with the tracked object, see what difference that makes. In this case, it was negligible. But there is another feature that will change. If I click on Adjust Effect Size with the tracked object, watch what this does. As he moves closer to the camera, the text is larger. As he moves closer toward the net or farther from the camera, the text is farther away. The text is smaller. So in some cases you might want to do that. I'm going to turn them both on and try it with both of them highlighted here. Now in this case, since he's so close, I have the text actually overlaying him. I don't want to do that. So in this case, I probably would turn this off, and we'll go back to what it was to start with. And so you can make all the adjustments you want in terms of the location, the proportion of the text, closeness to the object, and size related to the camera. So we have lots of nice features in PowerDirector version 17 that we can apply when we're going to do motion tracking and apply a text title or label to the object that we're going to track.